Are you around the age of 18 and you're looking to build your credit? Are you not sure how to go about establishing and building credit? If so, this video is for you. In this video, we're going to discuss why you should build credit and the ways to go about establishing and building credit when you're around the age of 18 and just starting out in the real world. So the first thing is, why should you build credit in the first place? Why do you have to have credit in the first place? Well, that is building your credit worthiness. You want to make sure you establish credit because you're more than likely going to need it in the future. You're going to need it to get approved for car loans, home mortgages, credit cards. You're going to need some kind of credit established before people's going to lend you money, lend you credit. And I know this all too well. When I was around 18 years old, I was going out on my own and was looking to find my own place to live in my own apartment. And I didn't get approved for those places to live, for those apartments, because I didn't have any established credit. And I was shocked. I was like, I thought credit was a bad thing. I didn't want to get any credit cards. I didn't want to have any debt. I wanted to stay away from debt as long as I could, if not my whole life. So I was fully planning on going through life without any credit cards and just being like cash-based only. Well, I learned the hard way when I was applying for those apartments. I wouldn't get approved. Nobody would lend me or take a chance on this young 18-year-old of getting his own apartment when I didn't have any established credit. And that's why you want to build credit. You want to establish your credit worthiness. And even though it's tough to get started, you want to do these things now so you can have a pretty good life later. And establishing credit is one of those, because by establishing credit, building your credit, you're going to raise your credit score. Your credit score basically measures your credit worthiness. How well will you pay back somebody if they lend you some credit? So that is what your credit score is. How do you handle credit? If you're somebody that won't pay back the money, just imagine you had a friend or you know some people and somebody lends somebody money and they didn't pay them back on time or didn't pay them back at all, they're going to have a lower credit score than somebody that you could trust, that you can say, okay, I can take a chance and loan them some money, loan them some credit, because I know they're going to pay me back on time and they're going to pay me back in full. That person will have a high credit score. Well, that's what you want to do. You want to get in the habit of building that trust, that credit worthiness, that institutions and banks and credit card companies can fully trust that you're going to pay them back and they're not taking much of a risk. That's your credit worthiness, that's your credit score. And that credit score impacts what kind of rate you get when you're talking in terms of home mortgages. If you ever decide to take out a home loan, a personal loan, a business loan, if you want to start a business, when they run that report, your credit report, and look at that credit score, that factors in, that goes a long way in determining what kind of interest rate you're going to get. If any, you might have some introduction credit card rates, like at 0%. Well, you wouldn't get those offers from credit card companies if you didn't have a high credit score and your credit worthiness, and you didn't have a long established history of credit. So you want to start building credit, and that was what I was oblivious to when I was around 18. I was good with money. I had a steady job, steady income, but I just didn't have any established credit. So you want to start building that credit. Now, how do you do that? So even if before you're 18, before you take out credit cards on your own without needing a co-signer or somebody being on the credit card with you or a loan with you, is you can start working. Build your work history. If you have a work history, if you work a part-time job, full-time job, that work history can be used to help you establish credit. Think about it. Nobody's going to lend anybody any money or credit if you don't have a steady source of income coming in. Because essentially it's like, well, how do you pay me back then? How are you going to pay me back if you don't have a job? So establishing your work history shows responsibility, shows accountability, shows a steady source of income coming in. And when you have a strong work history, a steady source of income coming in, that signals to those creditors that you have the ability to pay them back, and you have you show responsibility and maturity of being in a job for a certain amount of time, a commitment. So that alone, your work history is going to help build your credit worthiness. They're going to ask you how long you've been at your current address, how long you've been at your current employer. All that helps. So once you reach 18, you can apply for your own line of credit, your own credit card. So get a credit card. Now, it might be hard to get approved for most credit cards when you don't have any established credit. So what you probably want to start out with is what's called a secured credit card. A secured credit card is essentially you put some money up front, say like $500, you get a credit card, a $500 credit limit. That could be a wonderful way to start building your credit through credit cards. Now, if you get approved for a secured credit card, or whatever credit card you get approved for, or whatever line of credit you have, please pay it back on time. Start paying it on time when you can show those creditors that you are responsible, you could be trusted with credit, you could pay it back, whatever you put on that credit card, you can return the favor of being loaned money, loaned credit, and you could pay it back on time. So never miss any payments. Please make sure that you write it down, note it somewhere, put it on an Excel spreadsheet when your bills are due or notification. Many banks and credit card companies, you can set up an automatic payment that will notify you. You get plenty of notifications on when your bill is due, when your payment's due, I should say. So get a secured credit card. That's a great safe, meaning you're probably going to get approved for it. You can only put money on there that you have anyway. That's kind of how you get the secured credit card, and pay it off. Put just a little bit on there, whether it's gas, whether for your car, or whether it's groceries or a cup of coffee, your favorite coffee drink, or a restaurant, fast food, or whatever. Just get in the habit. And a lot of this is habits that we have to develop. And as we develop these habits, you're developing and building your credit. So once you get a line of credit such as a secured credit card, make those regular payments on it. The more you do that, the more you establish credit. And don't be afraid to pay that balance. If you have a balance of say 500, try not to let that get more than 30% on the balance, more than 30% on that card. So you're going to have a credit limit and you're going to have a balance. So hopefully the balance is only about 25-30% of that credit limit. Now, of course, you want to get in the habit of paying off those credit cards for sure, so you can have a nice line of credit. You don't want to have your credit limit and you're almost maxed out, right? So that's a great habit to get into. Pay it on time and pay it down less than 25% or less than 30% or 25%. If you can keep that balance about at that level, if not paid off, then you're going to go a long way to start establishing credit. So hopefully these tips have helped you out. You want to know why you should establish credit, your credit worthiness, so you can have for the rest of your life a long history of taking out credit, paying it off, being responsible, paying back those creditors. The more you do that, the more you develop this thing of financial responsibility and credit worthiness, and you're going to benefit years upon years of getting credit card offers where you don't have to have a high interest rate, if any interest rate at all, for like your first year or something. Or when you go get a car loan or a bank loan, a business loan, a home mortgage, your rates are going to be so much lower than a lot of your friends and people that you know who weren't responsible with their money and with their credit. So by starting now, taking little steps, that's going to benefit you for decades to come. So take out small either loans or get that secured credit card, put a little on it, pay it off, or at least pay it down, make regular payments, have a nice work history, stay in your job for a while. All that's gonna start building your credit, and that credit if you use it right and if you're smart with your lines of credit, you're gonna benefit so much financially from those decisions that you start making now. Don't make the mistake I did when I was 18 or so, thinking I never would need credit and I would stay away from credit like it was the plague. Start building the credit, start being responsible with your credit and your money, and you're gonna see big dividends for the rest of your life. If you like this video, I appreciate it. Hit that like button. If you want all kinds of videos and tutorials from this channel, shows you how to make money, save money, invest money, build your credit, please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel and hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can get all the latest videos from this channel. It shows you how to make money work for you so you don't have to work for money in the future. And one day, hopefully, you can live life on your own terms and you can work because you want to, not because you have to. All right, until next time, take care.